Welcome to Beyond the Game, More Stories, the podcast where we explore the lessons sports teach us in life, leadership, adversity, and just overall growth long after the final whistle blows. I'm your host, Dwayne Lightfoot Jr., and on this show, we sit down with athletes, coaches, leaders, just to have real conversation about the moments that shaped us, the different challenges, the victories, the setbacks, the losses, and just the overall experience that stay with us long after the scoreboard goes dark. So let's get into today's episode of Beyond the Game, More Stories. Today's guest is a very special one to me. She is originally from Austin, Texas. I like to say by way of Louisville, Kentucky, even though she never lived there. But that's just my personal preference. She is a freshman outside hitter at the University of Memphis who just wrapped up a very impressive freshman season. American Athletic Conference all-freshman team, as well as multiple players of the week for the freshman class. She led her team in kills with 314 on the season, as well as 15 games of double-digit kills. So she's actually killing it out there. Before arriving at Memphis, she was a two-sport standout athlete in high school out of the Austin area, competing in both volleyball and track. On the track, she competed in 4 different events. She ran the 100-meter hurdles, she did the 4x4 relay, she did triple jump, and she did high jump. So just overall showcasing that same athleticism that makes her such a dynamic presence on the volleyball court. She went to Austin's Mo and Jean Johnson High School, where she left her mark there. She ended up, at the time her career ended, was the all-time leader in career kills at 1,731, which is a lot. She also has the record for most kills in a single season with 762 and most kills in a single match at 34. So she's even though she's only a freshman in college, she's just getting started, but I'm telling you, her story is worth telling. So please help me welcome Zaniah Hoskins to Beyond the Game, More Stories. Welcome. Hello. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, no, I should be thanking you. This is something that I'm looking forward to doing. When I started this project, I said I definitely want to get Z on here. I want to be able to hear her story. I've watched her from a distance for so long, seen you play in person a couple of times. They actually upgraded ESPN Plus, so I started losing your games about 2/3 of the way through the season.
Oh,
But no, but
dang.
I was enjoying watching you play. So
Thank
uh,
you.
so I have to be honest now. So before we get started, I feel like my listeners deserve a little bit of a quick disclaimer. So I will admit, Zaniah is my favorite volleyball player of all time. I don't care what anybody else says. I've known her whole life, even before she even knew who I was. She's one of my goddaughters, and she is actually, which kind of makes me a little bit biased. But I will say this: when your goddaughter is actually that good at volleyball, it means I get to come on here and I don't have to lie about it, right? So that's the
hmm
fun part about it. So all right, so we'll hop in here. Just kind of want to give you the opportunity to come out here and let everybody learn a little bit about you. So,
Let's go.
all right, again, thanks a lot. So, first thing, and look, before we get into all your different accomplishments and stats and everything like that, they're going to see the videos, the highlights. But this podcast is really about the person, not just the player. So, let's
Yeah.
set the table for everybody listening first, okay? So, if somebody who only knows you from your highlights or the stats that they see, what's something that they don't know about you, what it took to help get you where you're at now?
I'd say just the dedication. I've worked since I was little. Just pushing through adversities and everything I've overcome to get to where I am now. It's just been such a blessing. Like I have my family behind me and everything. Everybody knows how close I am with my family. They've been my biggest supporters. So I'd say just pushing through everything I've gone through and having that support in the background has just been so amazing.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It takes an entire village to do these
Yeah.
things. I've seen your mom. I've seen all the support. Your grandparents come out, and your aunts and everybody, and it's just been amazing to watch. So I know it's a lot of people look at it when we go through this journey, and they see us. We may be the one that's getting interviewed. We may be the one that gets in the headline or the school paper does it on. But it's without the people behind us, we really don't ever have a chance of getting where we're going, man.
Oh yeah.
So so I tell you, you talked about some of the adversity you went through. So just for me, like I said, I've known you since the first time I met you. You were sitting in your car seat, rear facing. Your mother brought you to Louisville. So again, you were. I mean, we're talking months old. So it's again, I've seen you from the beginning. So to see where you're at today is not a surprise to me. But again, you're an athlete. This road is never easy. So I'm gonna start with the hard one. So your sophomore year in high school,
Hmm.
you go out and you do a move that you've done thousands of times, and you just land wrong and you tore your ACL. Again,
Yeah.
move, a jump you've done thousands of times. How is that something that you mentally and physically got through in that moment to push back to get to that next season?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough time to go through because like you're in recovery for 9 months and you can't play the sports you love. You don't know if you're going to be able to come back or not. But I think what got me through it was just being mentally stable through it all and knowing that if I push through this every day, I will somehow come back to my sport. And through this recovery, it's making me better for my sport in the future. So just being able to break down everything I was doing while also being on the sideline and watching the game from a different perspective, it took my mind to a whole different level of volleyball. Like I've seen so many things that people do on the court that I wasn't doing at the time, and I added it to my toolbox to be able to increase my abilities in playing, and it's just thought like made my mind think about the game a whole different way, and
Right,
it's honestly been such a blessing because it's helped me to where I am now, because I don't think without my ACL tear I wouldn't be here at Memphis, which
right.
is honestly something that I'm grateful for. Like of course I don't ever wish ACL tear on anybody, but it's made me such a stronger athlete and such a stronger player being able to push through those adversities, and I feel just empowered and such a better athlete through all that.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize is the mental toll that an injury takes on you. But I like that
Yeah.
even at that young of an age that you understood that, right? We're talking 15, 16 years old to
Hmm.
understand, let me take my mindset to a different level, right? So now you're watching the game from the sideline, and I've always told people the game is viewed differently on the court as opposed to on the sideline. So now you had
Yeah.
an opportunity to kind of see that, and like you said, you put that in your toolbox. So now that sped up your mind. That makes when you're out there, the game is now moving slower for you because you're processing information faster.
Yeah, and you can just see stuff on the other side of the court that you wouldn't even be able to see while you're on the court, which it's just such an eye opener.
Hmm. Yeah, and that is the beauty of it. Like you said, wishing injury upon no athlete ever, but to be able to go through something like that setback, to break through and be able to take something from that, and learn that, because you get a lot of people who get injuries and they quit, they give up.
Yeah,
You get people who they get injured and now they're timid and afraid to come back. They don't want to do that same move that got them hurt. So that why, from
hmm,
my perspective, watching you your last 2 years in high school, to see you come up on that left side and still make that attack and go up, and you're at a point where you're not even thinking about it. You're like, it happened, I got to move on. Again, I
yeah,
want, this is the sport that I love. So I love the fact that you were able to process that at such a young age and just learn that lesson through it. So that's really good. Again, you don't see that in a lot of 15, 16, 17. You don't even see it in a lot of guys and girls at your age now playing through college. You see people get hurt, pros get hurt, and they never return back to their same form. And it is a huge turning point in somebody's career and injury. So
yeah,
I'm happy to see how you came out on that side of it, because again, you played volleyball, which a lot of people know, but you also ran track and did high jump. So you're
yeah.
doing this on that with that same recovery process and everything. So tell me a little bit about what it was like. Again, I played basketball. I tried football one year, didn't like being hit. decided that was not the sport for me. So I stuck with one sport. But you did track and you ran multiple events. So tell me how it was for you to be a two sport athlete and having to train for two sports at the same time and try to make sure that what I'm doing over here is also helping me over on the other side. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I think just being in the mentality of having to work for two sports, you just have to have that drive for it. Being able to balance volleyball and track, of course, they're in different seasons, but they still overlap in some way. So training for both is very different. Being able to do track, my whole family did track. So I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to go do track. Like hurdles was a family thing. So I was like, oh, I want to do hurdles. But high jump was never really something my family did. And I knew in the end goal, high jump would help me with volleyball because
Hmm.
jumping up and over a bar, volleyball, you jump up. So taking high jump and taking what I've learned from high jump, I translated it over to volleyball. Like basically planting and putting your heel and rotating into your toe to go up, it helped me so much in volleyball. And I think just the correlation between the two was honestly so amazing. Like I never thought high jump would correlate to volleyball, and I never thought volleyball would correlate to track. But I think through it all, just being able to balance those two sports was honestly difficult because like you have schoolwork, you have track, you have volleyball, you have all this stuff, and it's just so draining at some point. But I had that drive to want to do both, so it pushed me to want to get better every single day for both sports. And I feel like being able to have that drive made me succeed in both sports I was doing.
Yeah, no, and that, like you said, that drive is just something that, I work with kids. I train a lot of athletes around here down in Florida, but there's no drill I can come up with that can teach you drive and effort and just the will to want to win. That
Yeah.
hating losing so much that you're willing to do, like the
Mhm.
6 a.m. workouts or, your the things that you have to sacrifice to not be great, but just to be good at a sport. Like, I'm sure along your journey, you missed birthday parties, you missed all kinds of stuff because you had either out of town tournament or a training or
Oh yeah.
something. That is life, and you talk about that. And I was when I played again, much older than you, but one of the things I could do was I could jump. I one point in time I had close to what back then they considered a 40-inch vertical was like the bar. But I will tell you, I had zero interest in trying to do that high jump because I just couldn't see myself getting over that bar. And I've seen plenty of bad YouTube videos of accidents happening on that, and I don't have the coordination. But like you said, that a lot of my coaches tried to get me to do track, but that correlation that you gain from those movements, they blend over into the other sports that you're playing. So that's good.
Mhm.
I love to see the two sport athletes to be able to do that balance because that's something that also helps you later in life. Being able to
Yeah.
understand, priorities, time, your time management skills. A lot of that comes from it because, there are days, you're in college now, so you're understanding it now. You have weights, individual instruction, class, team practice, study table. You got a whole day's worth of events, and you got to understand
Yeah.
that time management. That's something like playing two sports helps prepare you for that next level. So
Mhm.
that's really awesome. So again, your senior year, you did volleyball, and one of the things that I really enjoyed seeing was the run that your team made into the state tournament. I remember sitting there, your
Mhm.
mother sent me the link for the stream for the semifinals, the game that right there. But so how in that moment, what were you able to look back on from previous seasons that helped you prepare for those moments in being the leader of a team that's taken it that level and trying to play for the overall highest prize in your sport at that time?
Man, I think just doing it for the team. We had so much adversity that had happened, and like just switching from district to district and not being the best team in the district and not always making playoffs was just a drive to want us to want it more in the future. And once we switched districts and was actually just keep going and going and going and winning games, it just was such a game changer in my opinion, and it wanted us to just push for more and more and more. Um, and through that, I think just the team dynamic coming together, because we never
Mhm.
had such a great team dynamic. I think that year we just really clicked as a team and we wanted it for each other so bad. We wanted it for our seniors, like the girls wanted it for us, just like we wanted it for our newcomers. Um, it really just pushed us together, really
Yeah.
like so close. And
Yeah.
I think in the earlier years, I had a voice on the team, but it wasn't like such a loud voice. Like I would be come in here and there like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. But being that senior on the team and leading the team in everything that we were doing, I just needed to be that voice for the team, and I think they really just honed down and listened to me, and it just honestly helped us get further and further along. And even though we didn't win that semifinal game, we pushed with everything we had and we were so close, like just on the tip of winning. And it just showed the team was just together through and through the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, no, you guys developed one of the most essential parts of a successful team is just building that teamwork. You all had that. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for the person next to me. I
Yeah.
want this, but I want my teammate to win as well. The basketball analogy I will give you is when me scoring is not as fun as me watching my teammates score. Because you're
Mhm.
you're 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 in that group. It's you guys are in that big arena back then. Again, it's to where you've been now. Playing in though you're playing in those arenas, those size arenas every night now. But to be in that arena, it's you and your 10, 11, 12 teammates. And you got those 4 or 5
Yeah.
coaches over there. That's all y'all have in that building. You may have a few fans in there, but you're in there, and those are the people that you're leaning on. Those are the people that you fight with. Those are the people that you sweat with. It's not unforeseen to have arguments and fights with your teammates, but when you're sitting there and you're in a situation where it's us or them, especially in a win or go home game like that, and you see it, you guys are just having that opportunity to grow and together, and you got to have that great leadership, and I see you. I saw your teammates around you. You would get a kill. Their teammates are all around you, hyping you up, giving you fives and everything. And I even see it now with you at Memphis. I watch you and some of your teammates either even coming in your first game. I know you guys had a little bit of practice time together, but you see it. You're that true happiness and wanting your teammate to do good. You see it, and that is something that if that is not on a team, that you're not going to see a lot of good things come from that team, because talent only takes you so far in
Yeah.
this game, you know. So,
Mhm.
all right. So we talked about, again, you did volleyball, you also did track. So, in your off season, you're doing that, and we talked about the successes you had on the volleyball court. Your team made it to the state semifinals, but individually in your track and field season, you also did the high jump, like you said, and you came in third in the state, right? I don't know I think the way y'all worked there, the region, you won the regional first, and then you advanced to the state. Is that the
Yeah. So
hierarchy
we
of it?
have yeah. So we start off with districts, then we move on to
Mhm.
area, then we move on to regionals, then we move on to
Yeah.
state. It's just like a
Yeah.
whole cycle.
Yeah. So watching that, watching you go out there, was it 5'8"? Is that what you did? Is that the final one that you cleared? 5'8". And how
Yes.
tall are you again?
Like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah. You literally almost jumped over yourself. Um,
Yeah.
so what are some of the lessons that going through something like that, going through that hierarchy of I got to win here to get there to the next step, then I got to get to the next step, and I got to win here. What did that teach you about the experience of performing under pressure?
I think you just have to stay calm. Because at that 5'8" attempt, I had already had two scratches, and I could have been going around like, oh my gosh, like I have two scratches already. Like this is gonna be my third scratch if I don't make it over. I'm not gonna make it onto the podium, all this kind of stuff. But in that moment, I told myself, you got it. Just stay calm. Um, which under pressure, I work well under pressure, but I work well under pressure when I'm also just like woosah, like calm.
Yeah.
So when I told myself that, I was like, you've cleared this before, you can do it again. It's nothing new. So when the time came for me to finally jump, I just told myself, this is all you. You cleared it before, you could do it again. So whenever I went up, finally cleared that bar, it was just such a surreal moment because that sealed my spot on the podium, which I had been wanting since my freshman year, whenever I had made it to state the first time and didn't make the podium. And I couldn't do it my sophomore or junior year because I had torn my ACL. So I was like, this is my year to get on the podium. So just that moment, it was so unreal because that pressure really got to me. But I told, like, just telling myself over and over and over again, you can do it. So,
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, the power of our minds are so powerful. So you put the information in there. People talk about you don't want to speak something into existence, but the power of a positive mindset is crazy, man. You can go out there. You see stories of people lifting up cars off kids. When that adrenaline starts going, you get that
yeah.
adrenaline pumping, and you're telling yourself, "Man, I've got this. I've done this before." And it's something in a sport like track and field, especially a high jump. It's about consistency. You got the same
Mm-hmm.
number of steps each time. You're going off of the same leg. You're trying to get the same arc in your back as you go over that. Trying to pull your feet over last so you don't clip that bar. And again, you said you've done this before. You've built that level of consistency to where it's your muscle memory. So that's awesome, and I enjoyed again being able to see that, and just all the different achievements that you were able to do to compete, to get there. Just realizing just the power of that pressure doesn't bother you. That
Yeah.
that is a skill and a tool that helps, especially in sports, but it's also going to carry over to life. You never know when you're going to have to, you'll get a job interview or whatever, and you've got to be able to stay calm under pressure and all of that. So that's good to hear. So now we're going to kind of push a little past your high school, your high school life, but still kind of touch on it a little bit. I went through this a little bit with my basketball, but your process, I know, was you had a totally different experience. So tell me
Mm-hmm.
about your recruiting process to college.
So in the beginning, my recruiting process it was when I was like 14, 15, I had like schools reaching out to my club directors like, oh, we're interested. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm ready to do this. This is going to be great. Like, I'm ready to start this recruiting process now, right? And then the whole ACL happened. I was like, dang. And it was my ACL happened. I feel like it happened at the wrong time, but God put it at the right time. But
Hmm.
my ACL journey happened around my recruitment journey. So once recruiting started, I my recruitment was very, very slow. I only had a couple schools reach out, and I was like, well, they're not gonna want me now because of my ACL. They're gonna want people who are healthy, all this kind of stuff. So when I first started, I took a chance and I started talking to some schools and went on a couple visits to different places. But in the end goal, I chose ULM to commit to and had my signing day and everything. But some stuff had happened, and I felt like different adversities had happened over there. The coach left, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I think I need to take a step away from this and let God lead me in this journey of a new recruitment. So this past year, my senior year, I decommitted from ULM and I reopened my recruitment up right before a big tournament, which is called Triple Crown. That's one of the biggest recruiting tournaments for colleges because it's the first tournament college coaches are allowed to really come to out of their quiet period. So went there, balled my butt out for all these coaches, sent so many emails, all that kind of stuff, and I really started getting more interest than I did before I had like before my recruiting process started, and so restarted my recruiting process, started talking to schools again, went on a couple visits, and finally went to Memphis, visited the school, talked to the coaches, visited the city, got to see everything, watched them practice, talk with the players, all that kind of stuff, and instantly I knew I was like, this is the place I want to call home, and re-signed and had committed to Memphis, and I had came here. So that was my recruiting journey. I know it's different for everybody because
Hmm.
some people start off early, some people start late, but everybody's recruiting process is so different from what I've seen, and going through my recruiting process, I think it's been such an eye opener. Like I could start off so fast and have like commit early, but things could change in such a heartbeat to where I need to do another recruiting process. So I think just going through recruiting process, in my opinion, twice, like how I think of it twice, it was honestly, to me, it's a blessing because I think I wouldn't be here without my ACL tear, and I think the recruiting process has helped me in so many ways.
Yeah, no, and that is very true. Again, I came out 25, 26 years ago. So like the entire process is totally different for your generation coming out. Nowadays they've got this transfer portal, they've got all the
Yeah.
NILs. I saw a graphic today of a kid who's in his fourth year in college and he's at his fourth different school. So,
Mhm.
you see it's just totally different. And like you said, a lot of people, the journeys are different, but a lot of people don't really know what they don't know. Again, my kids are going through the AAU circuit now. I've got two younger ones, but when you talk about the Triple Crown tournament and you have this is the first opportunity that coaches can be off campus to actually recruit. A lot of people don't really understand that part of the process. Coaches aren't
Yeah.
just at every tournament. Coaches just can't
No.
be, off of campus looking at people, every week nowadays. Because, there's AAU tournaments every week in
Yeah.
almost every city. So, but yeah, there are rules that they have to follow with all of that. So tell me how you were, uh, like you said, you went through that, the ACL, you had some schools looking at you, but then you got hurt, and then a lot of those schools backed off. Tell me how, as you're going through this process again, trying to drum up the initial interest in you. How were you able to stay positive in that and not just be like, I'm hurt, people don't want me no more. Nobody's ever going to want me. Because the mental aspect of this from a mental health aspect is real.
Mhm.
I don't know how much of my official story but I developed depression as I was going through my college experience. So this mental aspect is real, and that's something that hits people at an early age, and now it's now become more of a topic of conversation with people. But how, and not saying that's what you were going through, but how are you able to stay positive and just kind of refocus to get back to the next step and just help continue your overall recruitment process?
I just knew God had a plan for me through and through. Although like I wasn't getting the looks I was at the time, I knew that I was still going through my process of getting better, and through that, I knew with the rigorous workouts they had me doing, they were going to make me stronger. They were going to make me better. I was going to get better at my sport. I was going to be able to hit balls harder than I did before. I was going to be able to jump higher, all that kind of stuff. So I think just being able to know through that process that I was getting better and I was going to be able to showcase myself in a better way than I did before, it kind of kept me hopeful that I was going to find the right place for me in the end time, because just being able to push through those adversities, they had to see that for them. Like they know me coming in, they'd be like, "Oh, she pushed through this injury and now she's doing better at all this stuff. Like I want her on my team." So that was my
Yeah.
thought. If I push through this and that, they're going to see, "Oh, she did all this to want to get back to her sport and become a better athlete." So she really has that drive to want to push and come back and all that kind of stuff. So I think just having that mentality, it really helped me push through going through a second recruitment process and getting to where I am today.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that you realized that you weren't a finished product as a sophomore. A
Yeah.
lot of people are, you'll see kids are starting to put all these D1 offers they're getting as freshmen. A lot of times that top ranked kid in ninth grade is not the same top ranked kid, in the 12th grade. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's awesome. But as we said, you played two sports. When and what made you decide to not do two sports in college? Or did you ever consider that? Did you ever consider trying to find a school that wanted you for both track and volleyball?
I had thought about it in the beginning because I knew high jump is something I wanted to continue to do. But in the end, I chose to continue playing volleyball because it was the sport I had fallen in love with, that
Yep.
I wanted to dedicate all my time to and just push to get better because I would rather go to a volleyball training or practice than be like, oh, I want to go train for track. But but
Yeah.
volleyball was just something I had really just wanted to do for the longest, and I had that drive for it more than I did track. Even though
Yeah.
like trained for track and like I had all these accolades, I still wanted more in volleyball than I did in track. And just the team aspect of volleyball, it just I've gained so many friends through volleyball. Not that I haven't tracked, but it's just the team dynamic and having people surround you and just they're there for you through thick and thin, rather than track where it's more individual than not, because high jump's an individual sport,
Yep.
hurdles individual, the triple jump was individual. The only other team thing I did in track was the 4x4, and I had to rely on other people. But volleyball, it's not just me, and I rely on other people to help me. So I think that was just something that I really genuinely really loved doing, and having the girls to surround me.
Yeah. That's awesome. So now again, we're back in Memphis now. You just completed your freshman year, and again, again I'm biased, but I think again, you see, I got your shirt on, so you
I
definitely
got my
represent.
shirt on.
Yeah. But so you just completed your freshman year. What the transition from high school kid, you're living at home under your parents' roof. Meals a lot of times are cooked for you. Sometimes laundry is done for you. All that other stuff. Now you go to college, and I will tell you, part of my journey was I'm 44 years old and I don't know how to iron, right? So I had never done laundry on my own until I got to college. So I'm having to find people, hey, we're heading out of town. Can you iron my shirt for me? Stuff like that. What was something that you felt most helped prepare you for this? And what is something that you felt that you weren't prepared for it?
I think just helping more at home. My mom, I'm an only child, so it's just me and my mom. So she had me help her a lot, um, either in the kitchen, doing my own laundry, cleaning my own room, cleaning my bathroom, which I would sometimes do. But it's
Hey,
okay.
as
I still
I
did.
still hate doing that as an adult. So, I've
Yeah.
so that part never gets fun.
Yeah, but just helping out at home was really something that had helped me transition better because like doing my laundry, it's been fairly easy. I know to separate my whites from my colors, what to put, like put on cold, put on hot. So I think just being able to help her was a great transition for me here. But I think something that I wasn't prepared for was like even though like I'm moving to Memphis, I wasn't prepared to leave my family. I think
Mhm.
in my fall season, juggling so much, having to practice, go to school, have weights, go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again. I had no time to really like talk to them, and I wouldn't say depressed, but like I was mentally drained at some point, and I really just missed my family so much. And it wasn't something I thought I was not ready for, but like I really wasn't ready for it at the same
Yeah.
time because I'm like a 9 hour drive away, two flights away from my family, and it was honestly really hard being away from them. But through time, I've learned to like be away at the same time, but I still call my family like almost every single day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. I was only 2 hours away from home, but I got homesick my freshman year. I will
yeah,
say basketball. See, nowadays the game has changed. Volleyball, yes, you're a fall sport, but y'all do stuff in the spring semester as well. So back when I
yeah,
was coming through, basketball was the only sport that bled over both semesters. So we didn't get thanks. Did you get Thanksgiving break off?
I
Or were y'all
did.
playing? See, yeah, we didn't get Thanksgiving break. We didn't get it. We Christmas break that whole month. We're at campus by ourselves. When you play for one of the good teams, you're there during spring break too. Because that's when the big NCAA tournament is for basketball. So no, I totally understand that. And as much as I celebrated as soon as my parents closed my door when they dropped me off my first day, I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for it. It
Yeah.
was a total shock. But yeah, no, I that homesickness is real.
Yeah. I
But
know my
again,
mom. She'd
yeah.
be sick of me as much as I call her. I'd be stalking her location too. Be like, "What you doing?"
So, but no, but that's awesome, man. Because, but in that situation, that's where you lean on your teammates. That is your quote unquote your family now. That's who you eat with, sleep with, travel with. That is who you are with 95% of your time. So yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. All righty. So again, heading into your sophomore year, you know, team looked really good this year. You guys got into conference play. You got off to the hot start of the season and got into conference play. But now, so you're heading in. And in my opinion, I think you're going to be definitely one of the leaders for this team now. And that's rare that you get a sophomore who is the leader. So again, all conference freshman team, multiple time freshman of the week. What are you doing to prepare to lead your college team as a sophomore now?
I think just getting in the gym and continuing to up my skills because there's so much I could still work on to get better at the game of volleyball. And then also working on being that voice for the team. I think through my freshman year, I would talk to the team, but I wasn't that voice that they would like listen to or like hear a lot. So I think just upping my talk to them about like what I see, what they could improve on, what I could improve on, what they can help me with, just being that voice through everything we're doing.
Yeah, and that's one part of being a leader. To be a good leader, you have to be a great follower. And I think that, watching you with some of the upperclassmen that you had, again, I'm my opinion. Again, I'm not the coach. So, I don't want anybody this is just my opinions. When I say I think you're going to be one of the leaders of that team. But like I said, you're leading by example. You're getting in the gym, putting in the work, and being that voice to them, but you've seen it. You were the freshman, the new kid last year, and you learned how to follow, and you saw the way that your coach wants to do things. That
Yeah,
the upperclassmen, the things that they led and did last year, and I think that's just something that you're going to be able to do and take to the next level. And I'm excited to see where Memphis is heading next year.
I am
So.
too.
Yeah, so awesome. So all right, like I said, I wanted to just kind of look a little bit back, at just kind of the journey of what got you there, what you've learned through everything. So I want to pick it up a little bit, and the next thing I want to do is kind of like a rapid fire segment. All right, so this is just I'm
Okay.
gonna give you two options. You pick one. No long explanations, no overthinking it. Only rule I have is you can't say both. Okay, so just think. Quick first thing that comes to mind. Trust your gut. If you feel you want to explain an answer, that's fine. You can do that afterwards, but just understand that the world we live in now, somebody's always gonna disagree with you, but that's okay
Oh
because we're
yeah.
just here for the entertainment of it. All right. So take a deep
Alrighty.
breath and let's just roll. So I'm gonna give you the easy one first. So December 7th of last year, you did something that I'm very proud of you for, and you got baptized. Congratulations. Tell me
Thank
what your
you.
favorite scripture is.
My favorite scripture is Luke 1 and 37. For with God anything is possible.
Yeah, because I hear that a lot in the things that you have said today. So that's awesome. All right, so we'll jump into a little bit of your volleyball now. You're an outside hitter. You prefer left side or right side?
Left side.
Left side. All righty. So now again, back to your volleyball. Would you rather have a block or a kill?
Um, I would rather have a kill.
Okay, I like scoring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
knee pads.
scoring.
Your knee pads. Are they on your knees or are they below your knees?
They're below my knees. That's probably why I have holes, like different scrapes on my knees right now. But it's okay. I
Mhm.
wear them below
Yeah,
my knees.
yeah, yeah. I understand. On the court, are you a trash talker or do you just play silent and let your play do your talking?
I'm a little trash talker sometimes.
There
I'll
you
be
go.
talking through the net a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. You got to learn what you can get away with. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, you're playing college now, so you're traveling this country on best part on somebody else's dime, you know. So you're getting to see a lot of places that you may not have seen before. Getting to go play at maybe arenas you saw on TV as you were
Yeah.
growing up. So not your own the Rome Fieldhouse. What is your favorite arena that you played in this season?
I think my favorite to play in was Tulane. They had Terraflex, and
Hmm.
Terraflex is easy to slide on, and it's
Hmm.
just like their color combination is so pretty.
Yeah,
And
that
we were
green
in New
with the
Orleans,
yeah.
so we won and we got beignets after. So,
There you go. Yeah. Yeah,
yay.
that it's a green. It's not even like a forest green, but it's like a green mixed with a Carolina blue, mixed with some kind of a duller, lighter yellow. And then that little wave logo is really cool too.
Yeah,
Um, all right. So we talked about Tulane least favorite arena that you played in this year.
North Texas. That gym is like smaller than my high school gym.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the green
So,
wave. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So again, you've done volleyball, and that's the cool thing about sports. It allows you to do a lot of different things. A couple years ago, you got the opportunity with the Love Volleyball program. You got the opportunity to do some hosting. So now, let me ask you,
yeah.
especially you're on this side of the camera today, interviewer or interviewee?
Interviewee. I like to get interviewed and people ask different questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I would tell you, this is new for me. I'm just now starting out being somebody to be able to ask people. I'm much more comfortable being on the other side of this microphone, So because again, a lot of times it's my own story, and people don't always know if I made up what I just said to them or if it was really true. They can't tell me because it's my story. So I like being
Yeah.
interviewed as well. Yeah. So, all right, college kid, 19, first time away from home. Sure, you're having fun at college. House party or a frat house party.
House party.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I know about you and your mother is y'all enjoy music. Y'all
Hmm.
go to a lot of concerts. So, arena, indoor, or open air outdoor concert.
Ooh. How's the weather outdoor though?
You're from Texas, so you're not in Kentucky. So we're gonna say it's warm, not
I'd
too
say
hot.
like I'd say like a nice outdoor concert with like it feels great, but like it has like that cool little breeze.
Okay. Favorite concert you would love to go to that you haven't been to yet?
Can I say someone who's dead?
Yeah,
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. That's your mother, because she has taught you great. Yeah. All right. So one thing that you did that made me proud was in high school. I don't know if you can see it, but you wore number 4. That was
Yes.
my number, right? Right there. That is
Mhm.
my high school jersey in the background. 4 was my number. You get to college, and when I got to college, I had to switch my number too. So I had number 1 in college. Somebody had my number 4. So for you, 4 or 20?
20.
20? Wow,
I
you
know.
already just
No,
1 year
so
of
the thing
loyalty.
is, no, okay, so the only reason, this sounds bad, but the only reason I wore four is because that was the jersey they gave me, and I stuck with
Mhm.
that number through high school. But 20 has been a family number for us, so I wore it in club, I wore it in um, college, and I will stick with that number. So
Okay,
my
I got
mom, I think my grandfather wore it, my aunt wore it, my mom wore it, like we've all worn 20 at some
you.
point.
Okay. All righty. Least favorite workout, cardio or weights?
I don't like lifting. I don't like to.
I don't like lifting.
Yeah,
I hated the mile.
I will run. I can
Uh-uh.
run. Like we
I
have
hated that
cardio on
mile.
Tuesdays and Fridays, so I
Yeah.
don't mind
Yeah.
it.
No. All righty. So we talked about now. This one might get you in a little trouble. We've talked about it. You're originally from Texas, but you're now in Tennessee. One thing these places have in common is they don't play about their food. Who has the better barbecue?
Texas.
Texas? Okay.
Man, I love my Texas ribs, all that I love my Texas brisket. Oh, the brisket out here ain't the same. My
Okay.
grandfather can throw down on some brisket.
All right. Music again. Texas versus Tennessee. Country or blues?
Ooh, I'd say the blues. I'd listen to
You've
blues over
already
country.
adjusted then.
Yeah, I love country. Country, I love country. I have a country playlist, but like
Hmm.
I'll listen to the blues for sure.
All right. All right. So, stealing a concept of an old game that a lot of people play, I want to play a game called Set, Spike, or Block. A lot of college kids call this game something else. I'm sure you know where it is, but short term, long term, never again. Right? So think about it, the F Mary Kill game, right? But we're gonna play set, which is your short term, spike, which is your long term. You want that satisfaction, or block, never again. We're getting them out of here. All right. University of Texas, Golden State Warriors, or the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh. Okay, so Golden State. I love Curry. I love Curry, but he's
Are we
like
getting rid of
one of
Steph?
the only players. I love him, but yeah, I'm gonna block the Warriors.
Okay.
My uncle's gonna hate me. Like I
Oh.
love the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a Texas fan through and through. Like I bleed burnt orange. So
Okay.
I'm a
Uh,
set the Eagles and I'm a spike Texas.
all right. See, I didn't want to make it that easy for you, so I didn't give you Louisville because I'm sure that I know they're behind all of these. So, all righty. Last one, same thing. Set, spike, or block. Again, very fashionable kid. I've seen you do some of your modeling, some of the sponsorships you had. So brands, Sephora,
Ooh.
Jordan, or Lululemon.
Okay, so I'm blocking Sephora. I don't really wear makeup like that. Um, dang. Um, I'll set Lululemon and then I'm a spike
You're
Jordan.
gonna rock with the Jays. All right.
Yeah,
I got
I'm rocking with my shoes rather than Lulu. Like I love me some
you.
Lulu, but I'll
Yeah,
take some shoes over some Lulu.
got you. So I want to thank Volleyball Club Hub today. Volleyball Club Hub is dedicated to helping athletes, families, and clubs navigate the volleyball world by creating a central place for connection, information, and exposure. Their mission is to make the game more accessible for supporting players who are looking to grow, compete, and find opportunities at the next level. From connecting athletes with clubs to providing helpful resources for families trying to understand the recruiting and club volleyball landscape. Volleyball Club Hub is working to strengthen the volleyball community from the ground up. So if you're an athlete looking for opportunities, or a parent trying to navigate the club volleyball journey, or a club looking at connecting with more players, Volleyball Club Hub is a platform for you to keep in mind. To learn more, visit volleyballclubhub.com. And just give a big thank you to Volleyball Club Hub for supporting the show and helping us continue sharing stories beyond the game. All right, Zaniah. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know you got a busy schedule, but as we wrap up today, again, I want to just take a moment to thank the episode sponsor, Volleyball Club Hub, but also want to say thank you to you. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and just kind of share your story. I truly appreciate all the openness and the perspective that you were able to bring to this conversation. So before we close out, I want to give you the opportunity to share with the audience just anything you have going on, whether it's upcoming game, projects, social media, or anything else that you'd like people to know about you. Give you the floor. The floor is yours.
Right now we're in spring tournament season, so we have games here at Memphis on March 28th. We have a game on April 11th at Alabama, and we have another game here. I don't know the date yet, but we have a spring, what's it called? Scrimmage against each other, so it's our blue and white scrimmage. But other than that, social media, just check out Zaniah Hoskins. That's my first and last name. On Instagram, I'd be posting just different brand deals and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you for sharing that, and we wish you nothing but continued success. I'll be watching. Are they able to get shirts still? Is there anywhere they can still get shirts?
Yes, so I will have my player um, link in my bio on Instagram, or I have my athletes thread one on Instagram also, so they can order different merch from there.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get us some more merch. All righty. So all right. So again, we appreciate you. So everybody listening and watching, we thank you for spending a part of your day with us as we're on here with Beyond the Game More Stories. So if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like and subscribe. We're everywhere that you get your content from. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Amazon Prime. But if the story today you heard, man, if it's something that you think somebody else needs to hear, share it with them. So if you find somebody who loves sports or storytelling, share this with them and just continue to support the platform. Again, you can also visit us at www.btgms.com for more content and also official Beyond the Game More Stories merchandise. I'm your host, Dwayne Lightfoot Jr. Zaniah, again, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. And remember, the game may end, but the lessons last a lifetime. So we'll see you next time, Beyond the Game.
Thank you.
Thank you.